The world of Harry Potter does not end when the seventh novel closes, but the central story does reach a deliberate and complete conclusion. Deathly Hallows resolves the main character arcs, thematic conflicts, and emotional journey that the series was built around. After that point, J.K. Rowling expanded the universe through a range of companion books, digital writings, and scripts. These works were never designed to restart the story or recreate the novel experience. Their purpose is different. They exist to deepen the setting rather than extend the plot. These books explore history, folklore, institutions, cultural practices, and background context that sit beside the original narrative. They answer curiosity-based questions rather than story-driven ones. As a result, they function more like reference material or world documentation than sequels. Most of these works share a slower, informational tone. They are meant to be read selectively and without urgency. Some are written as in-universe textbooks, others as collected essays or fictional historical documents. A few are scripts intended for performance rather than conventional reading. Because of this, they work best after the emotional journey of the 7 novels is fully complete. This guide explains what each category is, how it reads, and when it makes sense to pick it up. None of these books are required. They are optional extensions for readers who enjoyed the world and want additional texture without reopening the central narrative. Approaching them with that expectation makes the experience clearer and more rewarding. The Hogwarts library books are framed as texts that physically exist inside the wizarding world. They are intentionally presented as artifacts rather than novels, complete with academic tone, structured sections, and fictional authorship. Their goal is immersion rather than storytelling. They assume the reader already understands magical rules, institutions, and cultural references. As a result, they do not explain concepts from the beginning or introduce ideas gradually. These books are best read after finishing the main series. Reading them earlier adds little value and can feel abstract or disconnected. They do not move the timeline forward, revisit major plot points, or develop character arcs. When read afterward, they function as atmospheric enrichment. They reinforce the sense that the wizarding world existed long before the novels and continues independently of the main story. Their strength lies in tone, structure, and world texture. Because they are short and formatted like nonfiction, many readers prefer reading them in brief sessions. This makes them ideal as low-pressure follow-up material after the emotional weight of the final novel. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is presented as a textbook written by magizoologist Newt Scamander. It catalogs magical creatures using formal classifications, habitats, behavioral notes, and safety information. The reading experience is intentionally informational rather than narrative. It functions like a fictional encyclopedia with entries designed to be read independently rather than in sequence. This allows readers to explore topics based on curiosity rather than obligation. Some editions include handwritten marginal notes attributed to students, reinforcing the illusion that this is a shared in-universe object rather than a traditional book. There is no plot, no character development, and no emotional progression. This makes it easy to dip into but unsuitable for readers seeking story continuity. Readers who enjoy lore, creature design, and internal world rules tend to appreciate it most. When approached as background enrichment rather than storytelling, it rewards attention to detail and imagination rather than emotional investment. Quidditch Through the Ages reads like a formal historical survey of the wizarding sport. It covers early origins, rule evolution, broom technology, team traditions, and the formation of professional leagues. The tone deliberately mirrors academic sports writing, complete with dry humor and exaggerated seriousness. Any comedy is subtle and emerges from the contrast between tone and subject. This book appeals most to readers who enjoyed institutional detail and world mechanics in the original series. It does not expand the plot, revisit story events, or deepen character relationships. It works best as a curiosity-driven read rather than required material. Because it is divided into structured sections, it can be read casually and without pressure. Its primary contribution is reinforcing the idea that the wizarding world has its own independent history and cultural evolution beyond the novels. The Tales of Beedle the Bard contains short fairy tales that exist within wizarding culture. These stories function as moral folklore rather than entertainment alone. Each tale is followed by commentary attributed to a headmaster figure. These reflections reinterpret the stories, explain their cultural significance, and connect them to broader historical attitudes within the wizarding world. The tales themselves are symbolic and restrained. They rely on metaphor rather than plot complexity. The commentary adds ethical framing, interpretation, and philosophical reflection. This structure blends folklore with essay-style analysis, making the book feel thoughtful rather than narrative-driven. It is often considered the most emotionally resonant companion book because it focuses on belief systems and values rather than institutions or facts. It is best read slowly and reflectively, particularly by readers interested in symbolism, myth-making, and moral storytelling. The Pottermore presents ebooks collect non-fiction-style essays originally published online. These writings expand on locations, objects, social systems, and institutions that the novels could only briefly reference. They read like encyclopedia entries or annotated background notes rather than stories. Each section stands alone and can be read independently of the others. Because there is no narrative flow, these collections are best approached selectively. They function more as reference material than immersive reading. Readers who enjoy behind-the-scenes explanation and factual expansion tend to find them useful and informative. Readers seeking emotional continuity or story momentum may find them dry. They are optional supplements designed to answer curiosity, not continue narrative experience. This collection focuses on governance, authority, and institutional systems within the wizarding world. It explains how power is distributed, exercised, and maintained. The tone is explanatory and formal. It prioritizes clarity and structure over drama or character focus. These essays are designed to explain how the world functions rather than how it feels. They add intellectual context rather than emotional payoff. This volume suits readers who enjoy understanding systems, rules, and social organization. Reading it is optional and best done after finishing the main series, once curiosity about the broader structure of the world remains. This collection centers on formative experiences and personal histories. It explores how certain figures develop their values, abilities, and reputations over time. The essays are reflective rather than dramatic. They focus on background, motivation, and development without reframing or contradicting events from the novels. These writings add grounding context while preserving the integrity of the original story. They are explanatory rather than revelatory. Readers interested in character psychology and long-term development often prefer this volume over the more institution-focused collections. It should be approached as non-fiction-style enrichment rather than narrative fiction. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is a stage play script rather than a novel. It is written almost entirely in dialogue with stage directions instead of descriptive prose. The reading experience resembles reading a screenplay. Some readers appreciate the clarity and pacing of this format, while others find it emotionally distant compared to prose. It is set years after the original novels and should not be approached as a continuation of the original reading experience. It works best when treated as a theatrical adaptation. More than with any other companion material, expectations strongly influence how it is received. These books are published versions of film screenplays. They are designed for readers interested in the cinematic interpretation of the wizarding world. They do not include internal narration or descriptive expansion. The focus is on dialogue, visual direction, and scene transitions. This makes them faster to read but less immersive. They are optional additions best suited to readers curious about the broader timeline and filmmaking perspective beyond Hogwarts. After finishing the 7 main novels, the best next step depends on what you enjoyed most about the experience. If atmosphere and lore mattered most, the Hogwarts library books provide the smoothest transition. If explanation and structured background detail were more appealing, the Pottermore collections are the most direct extension. If curiosity about later timeline material remains, the scripts are available with a very different reading experience. None of these books are required. Start with one. Read without pressure. Stop if it does not fit. The original 7 novels remain the complete core story. Everything else exists as optional enrichment designed to deepen, not replace, that experience.